Merlin Fadley Yelps.
Where's that from?
It's one of the characters in the Maudes.
Is it?
Morgana's son.
Oh,
As of now, we only know his name, but it is a great. Okay, so as you can see, we started recording. Today's cold opening, Maude and Ned's spin-off. So don't forget to put the theme tune in there. Maude, if you remember last time, Maude was having an obstacle race with Lady John Ham, and whoever won was going to become the manager of the Springfield Township hydroelectric plant, but they had a draw, so now they have to run it together, and they have to share a desk because there's only one. So they begin organising their desk when Ham Jr. arrives, Lady John Ham's son, and Ham just wants to dance on the desk. John wants to let him, but Maude is very concerned with it and is trying to tidy the desk when she gets a call regarding the order of some sign-a-pack demon power t-shirt cannons from New Mexico. Would you rather be Lady John Ham, Maude, or the mysterious woman on the other end of the line that runs exactly like Maude?
I will let you guess.
I think you're going to be Maude and the woman that sounds like Maude.
That is true.
And you probably also want to be Ham.
Okay.
And maybe you want to be Lady John Ham as well.
Get an envelope.
All over again. I'll be John Ham and Ham, okay. And action.
We're going to leave Springfield. We're going to another Springfield. It's the Maude and Ned spin-off sitcom starring Rod and Todd.
Run. I, Lady John Ham, with my dynamite legs, have to win this race so I can keep my job as manager of the Springfield Township hydroelectric plant.
Little do you know, run. I am a former Fargo sprinter.
Oh, here comes the finish line. Who won?
It's a tie, bitches.
Oh, God. What's going to happen now, Ham? You drew, so you have to share the job. I'll see you Monday morning.
Oh, no.
Tick-tock. Monday morning arrives. Okay.
Oh,
Hello.
Oh, hello, Maude. Come in, sit down. This is our desk, what we have to share.
Just the one.
Just the one. That's all we can afford over here at the Stehert.
Is that a new watch?
No, I've had it for ages.
It's from this year.
No, it's old.
Is that my watch?
It's like 3 years old.
Okay. Can I would require this half of the table.
Okay,
I want to be
let's
left
start tidying.
Daddy! Morning, Daddy! Morning, Maude!
Jesus.
Sorry, Lady John Ham. He just crawled in whilst I was taking in a Hermes delivery.
Oh, hiya.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I've never felt more alive. Daddy, I just want to dance. I encourage you to dance. I would like you to dance.
Yes, you may dance in
I
that
want to
corner.
Dance on the table. I'm going to dance here. I want to practice my tap dancing on the table. Yes, that's it, Ham.
No.
Dance. It's so much fun to dance. I'm so alive.
No.
Ring,
My
ring.
stuff.
Ring.
My stuff.
Ring.
What a day.
Welcome to the Hamclo Corporation. Assistant Ham speaking. It's for you, Maude.
Hello. It is me. That's how you'd start calling it. Who is it? Well, we are interested in collaborating with your company to provide the sign-a-pack demon power t-shirt cannons. You have ordered them from me, I think, and the order cannot be changed, or my master will be very upset. Oh, I'm more concerned this than anything ever. Stop dancing on that table, Jesus Christ.
I'm so alive, filled with the spirit of Jesus.
His school called. If he misses another day, you're going to go to prison.
No, this isn't going to work. Neighbour Ham. I need to get out of here and get a new. Unfortunately, Ms., the order cannot be changed, or my master will be very upset. I've just told you about this. Oh dear. No, I'm hanging up on you.
Splash.
Ham, you spilt me iron bread all over Maude's laptop.
I'm going home.
Maude, it's a good cast, season 5. She's a ghost from the Simpsons TV show. Maude, this is a podcast all about Maude Flanders and the tattoo on your leg. Maude, objectified by dirty next door neighbor and bar owner honored in a second. Maudlin, Jehoshaphat, Radamanastina, unspoken bond with Jasper. Maude, the bushes are rumbling. It's Max Stone, Foxy Dead, Disco Chick with 4 grand demand. Maude, on flustered duck face smile, ruined apple pie. Maude on ruined club sandwiches. Maude is dead, rested, casting peace cast. Maude in the now. Does she have it? Yeah. Maude, joy of shame. Unapologetic friends, a cow call in truth. Maude, the sinister, needless Maude, riding across the township square. Maude, twins, Boner and Garrett, Goodman 17, illegitimate children. Maude, the pocket bread of days out is an Indian wedding. Maude, 5 a.m. early bird riser, get that house clean. Maude, Easter Rex and Eliza, Kayla's and the other Turnbulls, that's canon. Maude, questions of ghosts, Hawk Jackie D, Madam Shoe Collector. She's a super secret and nice clipper, and homophobic scrapper. Maude, she is a footnote of a footnote in TV history and a real podcast. Unruined wintergreen ice milk, unflavored ice milk drinker. Maude, low-key austerity. It's a go-to glow in its Springfield through suspicious eyes. Maude, she was a teacher, but not a watercolor master. Maude, volunteer vaccine administration member of the Moral Caucus. Maude, Maggie Roswell's greatest moment. Ookie spooky cookie mum to rotten Todd. Midwife by Homer, spoiler. Maude, the Lord is your age. Granddaughter of a 4-legged spider woman and faceless hiker. Maude, eyes blinking, transporting, ice cream stuffer. Don't judge me, or I may shoot you or hit you with a tray. A one-man Truman Show protagonist. Whatever happened to that? Maude, knitting and wind chiming and scrapbooking for Jesus. Maybe she thinks Ned is cuddly. Valentine's RIP, 21 years gone. Maude, Edna Anti-Database, one of the several recurring goals from primetime TV show. Firmly established telekinesis and mind control. Scarlet Witch. Maude, spied on ice cream binger. Tuppence skinny pig owner. Non-ultraviolet tattoo on your leg. Chevy caught by the underliner. Maude, Mexican wrestler supporter. Dina Flanders, Nick Goodman. She's a shameless skinny dipper. Arms by side, leaning slightly forward and often raised. Maude, purported cider drinker. Eyes fuzzy, motionless and blinking. It's the Maude Flanders Podcast. Episode 50 was spectacular. What about that?
That was great. I believe that was half of the entirety of every opening song we've done. You've
More or
done so
less.
far.
Part 2 will appear later in the show,
Nice.
after the intermission. This is going to be a long one today, right?
This is going to be a bonus.
Bonus,
What's that
bonus.
word? Yeah, big.
But why don't we tell these good people the story so far?
Okay.
As we are on the spaceship heading for the edge of space-time with Jeff over there.
Hey.
Ergun, an envelope. Say hi, boys.
Hello.
Or girls.
Hello.
And
Hello.
animate Carbon Todd, who is very much the opposite of that. But while we're doing that, and everyone's still asleep, they just woke up to say hello. Why don't we tell these good people the story so far?
Okay. Given that we've pushed 50 now, and this will be our last ever Maudecast for season 5. The museumery so far, I don't know if anybody remembers this far back, but this all began when we inherited the Maud Flanders Internet Database and Museum from our grandfather, and we also won it in a flandball competition that I believe Stamp and John competed in for us. But the trouble began when our night watchman Stamp was locked on the Flanders Revenge ride for a week by me, King Zaz. At the same time, mysteriously a gold sphinx appeared with the face of Maud Flanders that appeared in our car park.
Stamp sued Zaz and me for abuse, but undermined his case by hiding in our back garden and setting groups of cats on us. And footage unearthed showed he had actually passed out in the storeroom rather than ever actually getting onto the ride. Still, he sent his sons round to trash our recording studio, Studio 7, and we solved the Sphinx problem by throwing it into the River Duggy, which flooded the houses of several elderly residents. Both cases resulted in us being given huge fines from Judge Roswell that we could not pay, and the result being that we were sent to jail.
Whilst in jail, we were offered the chance to be released after performing a two-man, one-man Truman Show based on the lives and times of Maude Flanders for Governor Maxton Graham. We hired our uncle Statman John to replace Stamp, and all was well for a while. Until
we heard that the MFIMDB on Kitts and St. Nevis had been overrun by hobgoblins. So we went over to sort it out, which we did successfully, returning with Rod and Todd Hobgoblin, two unrelated hobgoblins that we mistook for brothers. They moved into the attic of the MFIMDB one in Wigan with their pet animate Carbon Todd.
Meanwhile, things had taken an upturn for Stamp as he and John had become
Magic the Gathering.
Had become Magic the Gathering Twitch billionaires. They masterminded the burning down of the MFIMDB's Ice Milk Annex, and the resulting bankruptcy allowed them to take over the museum, using the front of Hollywood superstar Isabella Rossellini. The watchdogs were forced to work the urine shift at Rossellini Mansions. During this time, deceased philosopher Jacques Derrida, who so far had kept the watchdogs at a distance, broke the death barrier and returned in tiny form only to escape on our pet guinea pig, Quadrupence.
Also during this time, Brendan Watchdog was tragically killed at a sports event by a baked bean cannon. He was thankfully brought back to life by our uncle Anton Ouijibo.
Mysteriously, all 58 IMDBs worldwide burned to the ground simultaneously in a series of tithing pool toaster accidents. This left the watchdogs, aka us, homeless at Christmas and secretly living in Stamp's shed and then in a shopping trolley. Stamp, however, lost all of his money in an ill-advised meme stock run, and fancy billionaire Jeff Apple was able to step in and buy the MFIMDB for peanuts.
Jeff hired several hundred monkeys to reconstruct the MFIMDBs around the world. His friend Michael Jagger arrived and they opened a space cult. They built a polysiren spaceship and recruited much of the town to take them to the end of space-time. To meet the star child, Michael Matthew McConaughey, who will allow Jeff to meet Space Jesus, who ascended to space heaven, clone himself, and kill all the animals in the universe. Concurrently, the MFIMDB space station was taken over by a cohort of radicalized dogs, led by the mysterious Barker, ready to avenge the death of space pooch Laika. Clues suggested that these hounds were also behind the kidnapping of John Statt's assistant Ergen.
The residents of Worsley Mains flew to the space station for a canine confrontation, only for half the populace, including new host, it's Natalie Balloon Manticore, I believe, to be killed when one side of the station exploded. Barker fled and the surviving crew followed him to the dark side of the moon, where it was revealed Ergen was being held in a human zoo. The watchdogs released the captives, and the psychotic man in the chair, John Poop 17, squished Barker, ending his threat.
And following that, a select group continued on to the end of space-time, stopping off at a space casino only long enough to release an international terrorist whose brother we had killed by the Hapless podcast cast. She's now on our trail as we rapidly approach the end of space-time. What will the future hold?
And we are currently flying away from the casino, Five-Eyed Jock.
Was that nice?
And it looks like it's just exploded.
Oh, that's not going to go down well. We just cause trouble everywhere, don't we? And is that Sharon Flim Flam quickly catching on us as well?
It looks like it. I'm assuming she blew the place up.
Oh, good Lord. Anyway, still, hello, good morning, and volunteer here in Testclum. Chow down, a category of meat-like product, my mother's son. Brought to you by Jeff Apple Sunderland. The landscape and scenery croons, purrs, and breathes her apple. You incarnate into a very early stage of your life's development and became two humans, a set of identical twins. Ooh. Drift tendency and trend towards sweltering, only expurgated kingdoms is cornucopian, ghastly, and immaterial. Joffroy, ought we be oscillating? All hail corporate imperialism. Sponsors.
Vin Diesel.
Would you like to expand on that?
The actor Vin Diesel.
Sponsors.
not diesel for a van.
Sponsors: the art crew, Zip Zip for all your clapping, Viva Thornton Music, Jan the ex-Manzanakis, Karl-Heinz 57 Stockhausen, Ant Bergen Deck Webern, Little Stevie Reich and the Glassman. We take concrete and we make it gold.
Margaret Lanterman and Phil Coulson, aka the Log Lady of S.H.I.E.L.D., aka MRS Eraserhead. I test my log with every branch of knowledge, LR and C. Hail the Hydra Pines, wind is moaning, and I am Nick Fury Jr.'s right-hand man.
Sponsors: Self-Directed Verbal Persuasions Incorporated. Keep aside a few earthmins every day to praise yourself bigly. Say nice stuff like, I can defeat this wall in garden. Dang, I look like B. Willis circa 1989. And H. West Reanimator. Give strong sense of self-talent, success power. Accept self. Search for B. Resonance.
Cops in action, all on your trail like a hot hellhound. What you do wrong, matey? FBI, Mossad, embroidered uniform guard, KGB, California Highway Patrol, Battle Thai, Oprichnina, Uganda, State Research Bureau, wash your bleeding back.
Some nice sponsors there. So we're flying along in our spaceship, Jeff Ergen, Animate Carbon Todd and the Watchdogs. We are very rapidly approaching the very end of space-time. What have you got to say for yourself, crew?
I've had enough now. I won't forget the ASAP.
I can't wait to get there, but we're going to get there real soon. I'm going to ascend into the Twyla Space Ascension Center, and I never felt so good about this in my life. I wish I had a desk to tap dance on.
Don't see what this has got to do with me, Ergen.
Oh, you will soon, says John Pope 17.
I don't think you're here.
No, I am Jeff. I'm just saying what he said to me in an encrypted Twitter message.
Oh, well, has anyone got any sweets?
Shall we do a Auditorium while we're, just before we dock?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Welcome to the Maude Flanders Internet Museum Theme Park and Database, the world's, Earth's substantial leisure distraction, and Maude Flanders Internet Museum Database Theme Park and Dog Wagon. Just one of over 58 MFIMDBs currently under reconstruction after mysterious tithing pool toaster fires. Find us in Worsley Mesnes in the discount shopping area of the town alongside shrapnel necropsy and stingy stimulants. Do you have a number between 1 and 400?
400. Wow.
It doesn't actually go to 400, but it's better. It sounds better.
Let's go for 131.
That sound like a familiar number to you, listeners? Maude didn't show up for Ned's performance of Streetcar. Was it because it was too racy? If so, how does she justify Aerosmith?
I think she didn't go to that because Marge was the other lead. I don't think it was anything to do with the topic. It's not that bad. In terms of like controversial plays that you could go and see, a musical of Streetcar Named Desire isn't the epitome of where she draws the line. Yeah, she doesn't draw the line there. I think it was purely because Marge was in it and she didn't want to see Ned and Marge interact in such a manner.
Yeah, I think she's quite jealous then. Is she a jealous person?
When it comes to Marge, yes, she has a deep hatred / insecurity that Ned might leave her for Marge. And that probably plays into the whole disliking of her. She just doesn't want them to be friends. And
there's a bongo episode, isn't there? A bongo one where they go dancing, and we speculated on her jealousy at that.
Yes, she was. Even in the comic, she looked nervous and not best pleased. But I think that's why she didn't go. And Aerosmith, as we found out from her diary, she's a big fan. So especially
the bass player, what's his name? Tom something.
Yeah, that's the one. Tom
Bass.
Tom Aerosmith.
Tom Bass Aerosmith. Okay, well, yeah. I think we haven't had a postcard yet from Jacques. I imagine the postman's coming soon, so maybe we'll get something there. So why don't we move straight into content?
Let's do it.
Would you like to give the good people some context for this content?
Sure. We're going to do a big episode. We're going to cover this whole episode in one supersized finale episode. I'd put this in my top 3 live Maude appearances. I think I like this one. She's very sort of front and center in the scenes that she's in, and Maude and Ned are house shopping, and Marge is helping them out.
I'm struggling with the clips you've sent me to get my head around what's happening. It has much more of a Treehouse of Horror vibe. But I think that's just because we're focusing on the bits with Ned and Maude, but I don't know. We'll do it. So clip 1. It's a long one, so stop me when you want to interject. Realty Bites. Realty Bites. Marge, estate agent Red Jacket, is taking Maude and Ned to look at a house. The first house. It is a little run down. The shutters are hanging off. Marge, the first house I have to show you is goofy-eyed Maude Flanders. Follows on. A handyman's dream. We see a classic broccoli back of the head shot. Marge smiles through gritted teeth and looks downhearted and said, "It's a handyman's dream because it's so dilapidated." We get this weird Maude arms by side where she kind of has her arms hanging with her hands facing backwards, which is not something that many characters do, I don't think. And she's looking off into the middle distance blankly, saying, Neddy, stirring. And then Ned says, "Well, nothing's perfect. I'd sure hate to make you come out here and not buy a house." And he has his hands held in a weird shape. Maude pipes up. "Now slow down, Neddy," she says, as her hand goes to his shoulder. "The home buyer's course," says, "always look inside the house before buying." Her eyes squinted slightly wisely as Ned is reaching for his checkbook.
I'm going to do the last little bit of that.
The front of the house falls off Buster Keaton style, revealing a bare room with one table and chair, with Lenny, who we already know Maude likes, is sat in there. "Well, there it is," says Marge half-heartedly. There's a lot of opportunities for ka-chings, but I haven't hit any yet, which is good. Lenny is eating beans or soup directly from a can in his underpants and says to them, "Please don't tell anyone how I live."
Yeah, fantastic Lenny stuff here. Try and give you some context, because I've kind of vaguely forgot why. It's all about Marge wanting to get a job. So she got a job as a real estate agent. And Lionel Hutz is her boss, and he's saying, you've got to sell something in the first week or you're fired. But Marge is too nice. And then it's made worse by the fact that she has to sell it to a couple that she likes, and to Ned and Maude. But they haven't, I can't remember if they give a reason as to why they would want to move in show. Maybe it'd be a throwaway line from Ned about wanting a change of pace or some rubbish like that. She isn't, when they walk towards the house and Marge is talking about it, she isn't even looking in the direction of the house.
And she's staring off into the middle distance for most of these clips.
Yeah, I also said that the look that she's giving Marge directly is very unreadable. That there's an internal monologue going on that we can't hear, whether that's criticising Marge or criticising herself and trying to give Marge a second chance. We don't know. She is the full voice of reason in this clip, and that voice is very far-going.
What do you make of the home buyers course that she describes? Was this a long course, physically attended, or is this just something they briefly did for an hour?
I think it was a free session somewhere, and that's what's inspired them to look for a house. I think it came out of boredom. I think she would be up for a free course, providing it didn't clash with any of her many plans.
Her busy schedule.
Yeah.
But it's wise advice, isn't it? You should look inside a house before you buy it.
All those many episodes back in number 1, when I refer to her as Flanders Straight Man, this is one of those examples, because he's not doing anything particularly over the top. It's not I can't think of another version on The Simpsons of Homer and Marge, kind of, but Marge has a moment. But he's still willing to be the cartoonish one, and she's the one saying, "Hang on, let's live in the real world for a minute."
Would you say that Maude, more than anyone, is like the Watchmen version of in The Simpsons?
She's the Watchmen version.
Because she lives in like a real world. Because I think you said it, one of the characters, somebody you said, was it Garrett? You said he lives in the real world while the rest of them live in a cartoon.
Yeah, Maude has she has a bridge to the real world. I think she's just sensible, more so than most because Ned is a sensible cartoon character. Maude is a sensible person.
Was she born with this? Affliction, or did she somehow develop it?
I'm guessing she was born with it. If Garrett also has the same affliction, I think maybe Garrett's her uncle, isn't he? No, Garrett's her brother.
Garrett's her brother, one of the twins.
Yeah, I can see it coming from what's his face, the granddad, Magdalena's husband.
Mitchell.
I imagine,
Mitchell
imagine he was a very
Mitchell Turnbull.
imagine he was a very real, serious man. And then Francis Goodman was also quite a serious man. So I think it's just passed down.
Okay, a bit of nature and nurture in there.
Yes.
Okay, so next, they go to the next house, which is advertising Red Blazer Realty. It's a very, very small orangey house. They're in a tiny kitchen, though still bigger than my first apartment over here, in which my kitchen was in the corridor and was less than half a meter across.
Oh.
In the it's awfully small. Maude looks very disappointed. Marge says some people will call it cozy, hitting the pans with her big penis-shaped hair. Ducky Maude looks on half-lidded. I suppose it is kind of cute, says Neddy, once again reaching for his checkbook. And Maude is looking into the distance again, staring and non-moving. She is in the room in all of these scenes, but barely present for most of them. Marge basically says it's really, really small. And Ned says, when you put it that way, it does seem a bit small. Maude, once again, arms by side, glances sideways at Ned with no change of her ducky expression.
Yes. She's very much speaking her mind. She's the one who's calling out all the things that are wrong here. She's the one who says it's awfully small. She doesn't mind if it's Marge. She'll speak her mind in front of Marge. If it was somebody else, let's say if Lionel Hutz was giving on this tour, she might not have said that out loud, but because it's Marge, she's not really bothered. Having said that, she doesn't even attempt to stop Ned from buying this house.
Well, I think she trusts him, right? It's a weird thing where she knows he makes good decisions some of the time. And she kind of seems to not really stand in the way of his decisions, things like not buying insurance for the house. So probably find a way to find a loophole that whereas even if they did buy this house, they wouldn't actually have to live in it.
There's also the chance that she likes the house, but she just wanted to be critical because it's Marge.
Could be. Maybe she feels like, well, no, because later on she says lots of nice things about the next one. So maybe she's having a few digs here. She's not above having a random malicious dig.
That is correct.
That is correct.
It is most correct.
Marge grumbles. They walk, and Maude walks action man style. Marge says, oh, ka-ching. No, Marge does not ka-ching. Marge says, that about does it for the houses in this area. Maude looks out of it. Is she back on the cider? She just turns her head and stares randomly at places in the middle distance. Marge then turns out of the blue and says, wait, what about that house? And Maude points. There is a for sale sign cut to a large house, ominous music, and a psycho zoom in stabs. Maude narrows her eyes. She's seen a dream. Oh, dilly, what a bargain. Neddy says, oh, that's a dilly. And Maude is staring derangedly as Marge imagines a newspaper saying gruesome murder at socialist's house. Mrs. Astor saith, she Marge grumbles. That's my word, a Marge grumble.
I do. That's a good, that's her catchphrase, isn't it, Beth?
I've asked you this before. Can you do the noise? Yeah, that's pretty good, actually.
Quite good, wasn't it? What are they even doing? Are they just having a day out here? Or are they actually looking to purchase a house? Because when they walk out of that house, she's got a really goofy smile, like she's just having a nice time. And this, to me, this doesn't look like something most people would enjoy doing for a day out. It's just looking at houses that you had no intention of purchasing. I like that their arms are briefly interlocked, Ned and Maude, as they leave the house. That was nice.
Very nice.
I disagree about her being out of it in this scene. I think the opposite. I think she's hyper-focused here. I saw it as like a Terminator, like scanning across the street. Like Marge has just said, okay, that's all the houses. And Maude thought, hang on, I'm going to prove you wrong there.
There's another house, a huge one.
Yeah.
There's a for sale.
Yes. She doesn't believe that Marge... Well, this is what I think's happened. They've already all clearly seen this giant house. And Maude's been giving Marge the chance to, bring it up as it is her job. And now it's got to the point where Marge is clearly not going to do that. So Maude is scanning the street, making sure there's nothing else that she's missed. And then she locks eyes on that house and just goes for it and says, Marge, what are you talking about? There's a giant house there. She does it in the most Maude way, but it's very patronising. And
it's very thorough. But she did. So when someone says there's no more house in this street, she takes just a second to look around and make sure there's not a massive house right in front of their eyes. And in this case, there was. So well done.
Yeah, she's also aware that Marge has also seen that house and is avoiding telling them about it. So I think she's goading it on a bit.
Maybe a little bit.
She does look happy with when Marge says, like, you know, her grumble. Maude looks quite happy that they're going to be going looking at this house.
Yes. But no question of how much the house costs or whether they can afford it or none of those questions. But they do say it's cheap, though I don't know how he'd know that. He also may not have said it.
I don't remember him saying that.
Clip 2. They walk in through the creaky door. Kudos on not making it ridiculously spooky. Just looks a bit creepy. Maude is hands clasped in hope and eyes of thanks. They go to the bird's eye. They walk into a huge room. Oh my, says Ned. No, Maude strides in. Will you look at this place? Ah, Ned, and the price has been slashed repeatedly. Maude looks on with sideways eyes, hopefully enticed. Maude goes full Nagel. It's sure built solid, arms out imploring. We get a face-forward Maude as she says with hope, the kids could scream bloody murder here and no one would hear. Ned has heard enough. Well, I'm not. I'm just going to spill my guts, he says. Don't know if you noticed, but there's a theme in all of the things that both of them say. Let's see if you pick up on it. I love it to death. I'm going to give you a deposit this minute. That one doesn't fit. That's a different. That one's not part of the theme. Zoom in on Marge. Dilemma music. Oh, you're interjecting. Good.
Yeah, I'll interject, don't I? When they walk in, their hands are all clasped nicely, and that's a very fun and potentially new Maude angle for us. That sort of downwards looking up to make them look sort of big. I don't know really.
This one?
You think? Yeah.
Or the bird's eye.
No, that one. What you've got there. Sort of them feels like it's a bit. It's not entirely like on level with the faces. It's a bit further down, and we're looking a bit up at them. So I like that. Yeah, I know this whole thing is like a gag that they're doing here about them all. Like, what's the most murdery things they can say?
So did you pick up on it?
I did.
It was a bit subtle, so I wasn't sure everyone would get it.
It's got that season 9 nuance to it. It is just in general though. It's a very weird thing for her to say.
It's very like it is full on Nagel. Does Roswell do Nagel?
No.
Oh, Pamela Hayden.
I was McNeil. Tress McNeil.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just strange. And what does the house is built solid mean? Like that it's. Why is that relevant to the kids screaming? That like it's a soundproofed house, basically.
It's a bit of a stretch, that line, isn't it? Really, to be honest.
Yeah, like why would that be something that would be appealing? They're not a loud family, so why would that? If anything, she would want the Simpsons family to move into this house. That wouldn't be what she would. That's how she would gain the most here. But I think pre-season 8, we wouldn't have seen her walk front and centre and just talk in front of people and lay down the law.
I don't think so.
She's very comfortable. I think we're in the period. I think she's softening to Marge, to be honest. I think she's. I think the sort of worst of the modern Marge stuff is out of the way now. Going to begin to form somewhat of a friendship, and I don't know if this is Maud sort of putting a trust in Marge here a little bit, and I think she's allowing herself to do that.
They don't doubt her much. They do ask her, but they don't really push too much. Maybe this is the beginnings of all of those internet memes and that BoJack Horseman man's poem, where everyone thinks these two were destined for each other. It wasn't to be. Ned has heard enough. Zoom in. I love it to death. I'm going to give you a deposit this minute. Zoom in on Marge. Dilemma music. Dun, dun, dun. Unless you can give me a reason not to. Tiny-headed Maude steps back with imploring hands. Kawaii. Is there anything else we should know, Marge? They say, smiling. We then see Maude imagining huts ka-ching. We then see Marge imagining huts. There's the truth and there's the truth. Is that what he says? Doesn't say.
Yes, that is correct.
Alongside a screaming murder victim, and then Hutz comes back in the vision and says, "If you don't sell the house, you're fired." Accompanied by more screaming. Pan across a hopeful Maude face. Hopeful and goofy Maude and Ned. There is absolutely nothing to tell you about this house, says Marge. That's good enough for me, says Ned. Maude stands in the back. Classic backwards hand mod. Those are power moves. There is a girly scream and we pan to Ned rubbing the curtains on his face. Oh, purple drapes. I've wanted purple drapes all my life. And screams again with his hands to his chest.
Season 9 sort of is one of those seasons that people consider as being after the golden stuff, but a lot of the big internet pictures are the most famous Simpsons moments, like the Lenny one and this purple drapes one are both from this single episode, and I see those quite a lot. So I think season 9 is underrated by others. It's certainly lost its... They're not attempting to be not a cartoon anymore, but that's fine. This is the last ever Phil Hartman as Lionel Hutz episode.
Ooh.
Yes, we've got one more. Troy McClure pops up in one of these clips, weirdly, and that's his last Troy McClure appearance. So Maude is there for both of their last episodes, which is nice, I think.
Apt, fitting, as she was the next to go.
Yes. That's quite intense stabbing in that vision for a cartoon. It is a man just stabbing a woman, and we see it.
Pretty grim, but it's only a little silhouette.
Yeah, when Maud's lurching forwards and like looking at Marge Kitchen, she's given her one of like the most trusting looks I've ever seen her give Marge. This is sort of, I don't know if she's toying with her. Does she want Marge to think she trusts her, or does she actually trust her? That one, like, it's very sincere, isn't it?
Yes.
And
she's saying, "Don't hurt me, Maude." Don't hurt me, Marge. I put all my trust in you as we make this ill-advised, huge life change.
Precisely. I have spotted out a blunder as well on this TV show. I can't remember. There's definitely one. It might be it's either the damn vegetables episode or the one where Homer comes through the window and just starts eating the food. But I remember when I was doing the visuals for that episode, looking and thinking, hang on a minute, they have purple drapes.
Are they the same shade?
Yeah, the purple. Unabashedly purple.
Good Lord. Now what Ned's talking about. Unless, of course, we've just uncovered the fact that these episodes don't happen chronologically.
Perhaps.
We already know time is elastic in Springfield. Do we know that these tales are being told in the order they happened?
One of the only clues that we have towards that is the death of Maude Flanders.
That does somewhat suggest that time is at the very least moving forward linearly in Springfield.
For now.
It's a TV show, though. They could just reboot tomorrow.
Exactly.
Clip 3. Sad crying Ned. Yeah, me too, says Homer to Ned in the garden. Homer says, let me know if you need any help. Now you mention it, Ned says. Homer says that was just an expression and walks away. Marge is still unhappy with something. Goodbye, Ned. She hugs him. Ooh la la. That's going to set Maude off. But Maude can't see because she's in the front of the moving van with the boys. If the slightest thing goes wrong, says Maude. Ka-ching, Marge. If the slightest thing goes wrong with the house, call me or you can beat me. In fact, why don't you just stay here tonight? We'll go to a hotel. Ned says, oh, but we have to get off. We're all so tired. We just want to get to our new house and rest in peace. Ominous music. Cut to all the shouting by the Flanders, who are all in the front of a You Break It van rental. Maude looks hopeful with a hint of sadness. She looks sideways. Will they really miss the Simpsons? Doofus Homer shudders. Ooh, that old Flanders place gives me the creeps. Classic Doofus Homer that we love, right?
Yeah, he's all up again. This is a Marge episode, so Homer just takes that role of... There is a B story, actually, where he gets Snake's car in an auction, and Snake wants the car back, and that will collide with our clips. It will all become one thing soon.
Interesting.
I do like how little Homer cares about, like, to them, this is a permanent move. He's just that's the level of disinterest in Ned deep down that he has. He's just not remotely bothered. But Maude's in the car waiting to leave. So if anything, Homer's tried harder than Maude here.
If there's been any goodbyes from Maude, they would have been very brief. I'm sure it was a very brief little hands clasp with Maude, and a very, very polite but short good Marge. A very, very polite a very, very polite goodbye to Homer J, but as brief as possible.
I'd like to think that she said an off-screen goodbye to Marge, but it's just a bit weird that the whole episode is Ned and Maude together, except for this one scene where they just had Ned do it and Maude's just waiting in the car.
Well,
and
I
she
missed-
even looks at him. She looks at him as well, like, come on, like when he gets in the car and he's like saying bye again and stuff, she's looking at him like, come on, like
That's enough.
hurry it up a bit. Yeah.
So for some reason, the first time I watched this clip, I didn't see the last 5 seconds. So I didn't think Maude was even in it at all. So I was wondering, I was about to message you and say, do you know that Maude's not in this? But I realized I'd done that once before. So I'm like, watch it again. And then I was like, oh, there's that little bit at the end, the last 5 seconds that I must have missed. So she is in it, but mostly it is, she's really just hanging there in the background, ready to go. She's roaring to go to the new house. If only to put some distance between her and the peanut gorper.
Yeah. Marge is being a bit dramatic as well. I get that she sold them a house where a murder happened, but I don't know why she's assuming that means that that's going to happen again. Do you like it? I know what you mean. Like, it's not a treehouse of horror. There's not like a curse on this house or anything. But I do think this house is, if not the same, almost exactly the same as that house from the first treehouse of horror that they move into, that makes them like, talks to them in the head and stuff.
Yeah, I think it is. Or if not, at least it's very close in design, because that's what it made me think of. Like, how is this going to play out? So
yeah,
I'm guessing later we get to the clips that show us if there is any kind of haunted stuff going on. I'm guessing there's not really, because it's not a treehouse of horror.
No, things are going to amp up, certainly, but there's no shenanigans going on. But that doesn't mean that she's safe.
I see. Well, that's very intriguing, but we'll leave that. We're going to just head off into Plotland, and we'll come back to some more clips in a little while.
That is correct.
So we've just arrived at the end of space-time. Finally, for a long time. And it's just a big white room.
It seems to go on forever. It's not all white anymore.
It's just, there's mirrors everywhere. And I don't know, let's all split up and go and have a bit of a look for Michael Matthew McConaughey. Oh, bloody hell. Sheriff Flimflam's here. Animate Carbon Todd, can you lock the door, please?
He rolled once for yes.
He's struggling over there, isn't he? I think we should have choosing the only member of the crew that doesn't have any hands or even feet with which to do such a thing. Is not that wasn't smart, was it?
Don't worry,
No,
boss.
He's fiercely independent as well, so we now can't help him.
Don't worry, boss. I don't mind stepping all over his hopes and dreams. Ugh.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. That kind of fixed it, didn't it? But I didn't actually mean for you to jam him into the door to stop the door from opening. But
Hey, it's just like in that TV show, The Sums.
I mean, it's a bit like that, isn't it? But anyway, Sheriff Flimflam's now locked out of the end of space-time, so that's good. We can do a little bit of investigating. So why don't the four of us just split up and look around and look for Michael McConaughey?
Okay,
Five of us here.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
There are five as well, then Ergon or Envelope, whichever one you are.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Oh my
So what are we
God,
doing?
the lights are going out.
It's gone dark. All right. While we're in the dark, why don't we do a few spectral speculations?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Use the torch function on your phone, Zaz. Now, what I'd like to do in the spectral speculation, I'd like to dig into the couple of names that we know very little about in the Goodman family tree. So we've got Eliza, Tatiana, Balthazar, and Kez, who we know absolutely nothing about. These are Maude's aunts and uncles. Now, we know a lot about Marilyn, her mum. We know a bit about Rochelle, who's Morgana's mum. And we know a fair bit about Rex, who's the Tinker Turnbull's father. But Eliza, we only know she's the youngest. She's a black sheep. She's a spinster with 2 pets. She's a wind chime teacher, and she's 8 years older than Maude. So not much. However, we know absolutely nothing about Kestrel Turnbull, and we know even less about Balthazar. And all we know about Tatiana is he's a loose cannon. So what? I'm going to say the 4 names. You tell me something else that is good to know about those 4. So let's start with the easy one. Tell me something about Eliza Turnbull.
She has a passion for walking fridges. Where like Maude today walked around houses, Eliza's thing would be walking fridges, and she justifies it by saying she didn't have a fridge growing up.
Which is not true.
I'd say it was semi-true. I imagine Magdalena at some point, just for wackiness purposes, removed a fridge for a month.
Put it in the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, warm food only, and
sour milk. Only rotten milk and cheese for you, my children.
Yeah, this applies to all four of them and Marilyn, but a lot of the adult traumas come from Magdalena and the way she raised them.
Well, that's certainly something I'd like to hear much more about. Tell me a little bit about Tatiana Turnbull, the loose cannon.
If I'm correct, I think she's dead. I'm sure one of them's dead. I'm sure we established that someone had died.
Maybe. Tell me more about
that. She fell off a boat. She slipped on a wet towel that had been thrown across pool. She was on like an elaborate cruise, and she slipped on a towel and fell off the side of the boat, but landed on a smaller boat, and it broke all of her body.
Did she fall off that one as well, and then land on basically a door?
She was rolled off onto a door by the people on that boat who weren't up for saving her.
And even though there was ample room on the door, the person on there refused to let her on, like in that Titanic film.
No, I think she made it onto the door, and she basically got back to land. It was almost what you would call a miracle, and then she was eaten by a whale.
A whale shark or just a whale?
Just a whale. It came up over the water and just took the entire plank of wood and just went back down. And that was the last time anyone saw her.
Is it possible she's still alive in the belly, like in the Bible and stuff?
It's possible. We don't know what happens in the stomach of a whale.
It's the last area that scientists have to look into. They've looked everywhere else, but they've never actually been able to look in that whale belly and find out what is it that makes puppets and religious men able to live in there relatively comfortably and rent-free for as long as they want. I have a very strong feeling that we're probably going to be seeing her in the belly of that whale at some point. Probably with a counterpart, another counterpart that sounds a little bit like Frank Sidebottom. A little Tatiana. Exactly. What about Kes? Kestrel Turnbull. We have absolutely nothing other than 3 question marks about that chap. He is word for word. He's just Kes from the movie Kes. No, he's not Kes. He's the boy. Oh, he's the boy, Billy Casper. Yeah, he just shot for shot, word for word. That's his life. Does he base his life on Billy Casper Kes, or does Billy Casper Kes base his life on Kestrel Turnbull? Neither. It sort of exists in the same sort of way that the English office and the American office both exist in the same world, but they're essentially the same characters doing the same things, especially early on. It's just sort of that. A wild coincidence. And it still happens in Springfield Township, but he still does have a very strong Northern English accent. Casper. Yes. He's a Kestrel, sir. Do you ever see Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer's version of Kes? No, I don't think so. Do yourself a favour. I will. They do the whole film. No, it's one of those shooting stars clips, but it's very, very funny. What does he eat, sir? Eats jam. I did listen to the girls' song that they did yesterday, actually. From The Smell of Reeves and Mortimer. Oh yeah. So I'm Carol. I'm the one with a limp, and I'm Susan, and I too have a limp. Very funny, and you can't underplay Bob. So, did you ever listen to the Atletico Mint stuff at Bob's podcast? No, but I mean to, because I enjoy him. Bob is fantastic, and he basically tries to spend as little time as possible talking about football, considering it's a football podcast. Other than a couple of characters in his sketches, there's literally no mention of football. He was there when I went to watch 8 of 10 Cats Does Countdown live. He was one of the panelists. That was fun. But Johnny Vegas was also there, and he just made the entire thing about himself. Vegas. Fool. Last up, Balthazar. Warren, whereabouts and whatabouts unknown. He's one of those people that you would see on those American programs where they're just extortionately fat. Like my 900-pound husband. I wash myself with a rag on a stick? Yeah, essentially that. Is that a Simpsons reference? It is. But imagining
he's going to be a big fat slob when he's older. He's mobile but burly. Like,
So he's a big
has,
chap.
He has wheels. And he is married to a Vietnamese man.
Okay, you're essentially making a character that in 2021 we cannot feature in our show.
Why? You didn't buy him.
Not what I'm. That's not the part of the story that I'm suggesting.
Well,
I would
body
like
positive.
It is. I would like to ask you later of Merlin Thadley Geltz and Boner's kids, but that won't be for today because where is Michael Matthew McConaughey? All I can see is that little tiny mirror and it's showing Ergen.
There is a mirror over there. What? Oh, yeah. But you're not even standing in front of it. Have you seen... So when we look in this mirror and we're looking for Matthew Michael McConaughey, we just see Ergen. Well, that's my name. What?
What?
That's my full name. Ergen's a joke name.
Oh, good Lord. So you're Michael Matthew McConaughey?
Well, that's my name. I don't know if I'm the one that you're looking for.
Ergen, you're starting to glow.
Oh my God, you're starting to glow, Ergen, Michael Matthew McConaughey. You're the star child. You're the star child.
I'm going to need new pants. This is too much.
Ergen, star child, open the gates of heaven, please.
I've opened some gates. Let me see what I can do. Has that done anything?
Dad,
Yes, Jeff.
is this space heaven?
Well, sort of.
Will you clone me?
All in good time, Jeffrey.
Have I been a good boy and a kind boy?
Not particularly. What was all that business with making the monkeys piss in the bottles?
That was their choice.
See, that's the sort of thing I'm talking about, Jeff.
Okay, but I killed a bunch of dogs. Does that count?
Not really. That seems like a pretty loose interpretation of my
Or
teachings.
can I come in and meet Space Jesus and be cloned and kill the rest of the animals?
The first one, yes. The other two, we'll just have to see.
Good enough for Jeff. Bye.
Well, that was a turner for the book. So after 2 seasons, it seems that Jeff actually achieved his goal of ascending into space heaven.
That's insane.
So I think it's time for us to turn around, lads and lasses,
Shall we go?
and head home.
Oh, thank God. I won't go for Asda. I'm not coming.
What do you
What?
mean you're not coming, Ergen? I mean, you're the star child, but let's go home.
No, I have to remain here at the end of space time, and Envelope will become my helper. What?
Your helper or your herald?
My herald. Sorry, I was reading it upside down. Envelope, I want you to find planets that I can muck around on. Can I have a tricycle? A chrome one. A chrome tricycle. That's what I was going Asda for. Okay, well, boys, do you really want to go home? Do you not wonder what's beyond the edge of space-time?
Yeah, I guess kind of. I have occasionally wondered what's beyond the edge of space-time. What about you, Zaz?
Yeah, all right. Why not? We've been everywhere. We've been to Worsley Mains. We've been to space. Why not?
All right, let's do it. Let's head through space-time. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Episode 51, part 2.
Do we just carry on where we left off?
What we do is we do cold opening part 2. Later that day, Boner and his 17 kids have arrived and are living in Maude's and Ned's garage. Ned is struggling to feed them all bacon when Maude arrives and helps him. Boner sits on the couch all day watching Maude's Blubby the Pony DVDs while the kids harass Nedley, including Brassleg, the robot-legged child. Would you like to Ned, Maude, Boner, his children?
I'll be Maude and Brassleg.
All right, okie dokie, and action.
Going to leave Springfield. Going to another Springfield. It's the Maude and Ned spin-off sitcom starring Rod and Todd. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, doobly doobly boodly boodly bacon nibbly. Oh, children, settle down. I want bacon. Oh, doobly boodly, Boner, Conrad, could you give me a hand? Oh, no, I'm just having a moment now. Ah, Brody Boodly, listen, stop biting me. Stop biting. Ding dong. Ah, Maud's back. Oh, Boodly, Maudly, Boodly's back. Ah,
Oh, hello.
You'll never boodly doodly believe it.
What's going on? Why are there so many? Is Conrad here again?
Yeah, he's moved in. He's only moved usually into the garage with all of his children. He must have
Oh, no, we're not doing-
10 or Maudely or.
We're not doing this every 6 months.
Oh, Maud, just for a few days. Just for
I need...
just for a few days. Have you got any Mountain Dew?
No, I need bacon.
Bacon.
Oh,
No.
Maudely. I don't. Oh, Maudely, we're out of bacon. I already used most of the hamsters. Stamp salutes.
How many of these kids are there?
That was a joke, Audley Oak.
Oh, ha ha ha. How many kids are there?
Oh, I don't know. There's 12 or something. Oh. There's 17 of us. 17 of us. Bacon.
Perhaps, like, why don't we eat your regular leg?
Don't be bloody daft. Can't eat my brother's leg.
No.
Be more... Oh, Conrad, why can't you be more like your brother Garrett?
Oh, that Garrett. Oh, have you not heard? Yawn. Have you not heard? He's only bloody young one and left his family and gone missing. Like him.
What?
Bacon. Maude, it's a part-2 cast. Religious, loving, and sassy business. And skip the F once. Not once, not twice, but twice. But once, canon. That's right. Send us to Maude. We're pretty sure she's not a pharmacist, but maybe works in a related field. She's a Mexican food lover, burritos, tacos, guacamole, and chickaboo and rewarded faith. She's a French comic lover and lady woman. She's a farmer AM early bird riser. That house clean. She's a holy roly knocker down the skittles. And a Midwest girl next door, voice of increasing intensity and accuracy. She's a purveyor of barbecue victuals. She's a cousin to the Tinker Turnbull stuck in, well, happiest man. She's got questionable clothes, changing powers, but she's a straight woman and villain. She's unflustered by serial killers. How do you not think of the children? There's an internal tempest of madness, confused by ethnic cuisine, even fish and chips. Eyes are saw by Satan's boners, not Conrad Goodman. Did she drink unapologetic Rutgers cider? She's Mitchell's sweet granddaughter. Or is she reincarnated Ginger? Not likely. She's a supportive wife and mother. It was Judas on the hill with the lies. Kissing the cement. Kids get baptized, kids. She's not a bottom smacker, damn vegetables. Just learning to be more judgeful. She's got a regular, normal woman voice. Well forgotten, but not by us. Maxwell in the bushes rumbling. Thanks for the marriage and kids. Now, husband, walk to your death. She's a mental wild card and not the centuries. Ain't Landers, no. She's the sister of Claude Bender's evil twin, Larry Goodman. Powers of quick change and teleportation. She's pro-Jebediah and pro-miracle, teaching us the joy of shame. Jehoshaphat, the Lord is judge. Radamanthus, judge in the underworld. Blubbin's a pony at Janice's house. Ratters. It's the second half of the Maude Flanders Internet Museum, episode 51. Who would have thought it?
The second half of the episode, can you believe it?
And if you want all of those songs put together, what you should do, get one of those YouTube download apps, download it, download some audio editing software, convert them to MP3s, slice out just those bits, stick them back together, re-upload them to YouTube. That cash will be yours.
You're welcome to it.
Now, you know what we did get? We got a nice little postcard from Jacques Lestilo Derrida. Do you want to read that?
Yeah.
It's yours truly, El Guileful, mature mongrel down there in the hot-blooded intervals. Receive my mea culpa, my valuable investigators. Fashionable, no likeness or ruse. Oh, growling radio, frequency spectrum duality. I swept the best joints, Michelin We 2021. The reputable, the unending. The reputable, the unending. In come the whole neck of the woods of a penthouse, concomitantly. Facilities supervisor of M Skeleton Fabricating Venture. Please enlist in my OnlyFans. What me and K-Cat do. Only £275 a month. Tell a saint to go to hell. Sense 8 Hernando Future, Mexico City. What does one say at the wearisome? What? Why does one say at the wearisome, deathless esplanade? Poor quantum pence chunders out mouldy radwee crackers, yet there is nought else. His goatee wings tell that a storm is coming. Sciatic arthritis, deviated naval septum, swelling of the sheath that covers the tendon, varicose veins, scaly skin, lesions, oozing patches that feel rough or leathery. The burgesses of the WP are tyrannized in their hearts. I'd heard about oil spills happening in other parts of the world, but this one was the first one I'd seen with my own eyes. What grazes on them? See mammoth tootsie busts, but no library will tell me, and no citizen will speak. X is the danger. Love, Jock.
Catch dead. Riding a hamster. Zipping between the blades of grass. Tiny dead. Deconstructing everything. Coming to you to tell you what's what.
I think he may have lost it down there.
It does. It certainly sounds like it. He's certainly up in his vocab.
It's almost as if he's just put the words into some kind of thesaurus, online thesaurus.
Certainly seems that he's having some kind of help.
Although he is a smart chap, so who knows? But it does seem like he's dissipating into the ether there. Hopefully we'll find out soon what's going on. But here's the quote.
Therefore, we will not listen to the source itself in order to learn what is or what it means, but rather to the terms of speech, the allegories, figures, metaphors, as you will, into which the source has deviated in order to lose it or rediscover it, which always amounts to the same.
Yes, I agree that this applies to Maude because sometimes we kind of directly listen to the source itself, but that doesn't mean that we will agree with it or change it to fit what we need it to.
I agree. I think this is Jack talking directly about the Maudecast and what we do to the source. And
it does seem that way.
No matter what we do, it always amounts to the same.
Precisely. 51 of the same.
Exactly. 51 more, my good man.
Yes.
Did you already do a Maude diary?
No.
Do one now and we'll edit it in. Have you got a Maude diary for us? Surely you've got at least 2 more diaries for us.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. We might end with 3 or 4 if we did one last week.
No, we did not do one last week. Here we go. Dear Le Diary. That's a little joke because I'm in France. Me, because of the church. Me, Helen and Marge have all ended up in France doing some charity work. And I didn't particularly want to come, but I don't know. I didn't really have a reason not to. Yeah, I'm in France or something with the girls. We're having a bit of a girls' Catholic Christian trip to raise some money for some new stained glass windows for the church. And we've decided to come to France and sell knockoff watches on one of the bridges from a rug. But there's a lot of competition and people keep taking our watches. So, and the rug's got a bit dirty, so we're going to have to go and buy some French detergent. So the 3 of us are going to go to a French supermarket and buy some French washing powder and use that. So that diary is why I was in France for that advert. And also, furthermore, the end.
Shall we move into content part 2?
Yes.
Marge comes into the new Flanders house and screams. We zoom out to see Ned, Todd, Rod, and Maude lying down on the floor, covered in red blood. Maude is in the recovery position, but looks far from recovered. Marge screams as Maude does not move with a long, weird face. Ned leaps up. "Oh, hi, Marge," he says. "Guess we gave you quite a start. We were painting Todd's room. Real messy work. Then we came out here to take a break with red paint. Must have dozed off. Todd, red room, he says as he wiggles his finger, shining S. Over there, he points. Maude does not get up, but then she does, and she is smiling, but not moving in any other way. "I'm just glad you're okay," says Marge. Maude turns her head. It is the only movement she makes in this entire scene. She's so serene. "Marge, I have something to tell you," she says, hand to heart, and sighs.
Lovely. She's got her arms out. We've seen her sleep continuity is quite good. She seems to sleep in that same arm up position quite a bit. So that could have been a clue that she wasn't dead if it didn't come out 30 seconds later anyway. But she doesn't wake up when Marge screams. Her and Rod and Todd do not even flinch. But
No,
then
they're
they're
well napping, aren't they?
Yes, fully napped. They seem to respond to Ned's voice though instantly, and just all three of them just rise, smiling, as if it's second nature. They hear Ned's voice and they awaken with a smile. Maybe that's the morning routine.
Could be. But Ned goes round cheerfully whistling and telling them wake up. Maybe they take group family naps in that position, because it's not a comfortable way to sleep.
No.
Just weighed right down on the bare bones of the floor, but they all seem to be enjoying it.
In a cold house, a giant cold house. I know it's supposed to be we're in the season 9 over-the-top cartoonish stuff here, but it just strikes me as weird that the first thing they would do is paint Todd's room. Before they sorted out anything else in that house, they would get to painting Todd's room and then stop and just not carry on. I suppose they've got no time limit here. They live in this house now, but it seems doesn't seem very Flandersy to me to do paint half a room and then just all fall asleep on the floor like Homer would.
No, it's out of character. It's almost as if the entire scene has been written around them deceiving Marge into thinking that they'd been murdered.
It does seem that way. And maybe they're playing up on it. Probably not Ned, but maybe Maude suggested here. Maybe Maude's already in on it. She doesn't seem like she is, to be honest, though. She finds out the information and reacts accordingly. This might be our first Shining reference involving Maude in the scene.
Maybe.
Which is fun. We did mention it in episode 50, I believe. We have always been here.
Exactly. Shining reference.
So, things aren't going well for Marge here, but it's nice to see that on this sort of base level, Marge and Maude seem to kind of not care about each other too much now, but their welfare seems to be being questioned. Marge doesn't want anything bad to happen to Maude. And Maude's very smiley and placid in this scene as well. She seems relatively settled, and she's not out to get Marge here, I don't think.
Oh no. There's no bad blood here. But you think she'd still worry as much if she hadn't caused it, Marge?
No, mostly because she probably wouldn't know the context. But again, it's a weird thing to freak out about. It's just Marge being overly paranoid to think that a house where someone has been murdered just instinctively means that it's going to happen again immediately to the next family that moves in. That's not really good practice for a realtor.
No, but it would be on your mind if you flogged it for cheap to your neighbours.
Yeah, but I get the moral sort of confusion about not telling them someone was murdered in the house, but to think that they are going to get murdered is quite a stretch.
It is indeed quite a stretch, but I think she's given to those kind of leaps is Marge, and given some of the crazy things that have happened in Springfield over the years, I'd have to say she's well-founded.
That is true.
What if the situation was flipped?
Yeah, I was thinking, I just don't think Maude would care at all.
No, she'd think it was fitting.
Enjoy your house. Here are the keys, have some money on.
Now walk to your death.
Yes. So yeah, I think that would happen. I don't think she would really have this moral panic if it was the Simpson family. She'd just be thinking good riddance.
I would hope not, but I think that's actually very much the case. Clip 2. Another bird's eye view. Ned's arms raised. This is the murder house. Wide smiling Maude. Oh, groans Marge. There's a classic back of the head shot with a very fuzzy red-lipped Maude. You mean the infamous jealous jockey murders, she says, hands clasped in front of chest. Ned looks worried. Tiny face Maude. Of course, gasped Ned. This must be where he dropped the dagger. He starts walking around the house, pointing out where various parts of the murder has happened. This is the butler's pantry where Mrs. Astor concealed herself. And Ned continues, right here is where they found the torso heap, which is a great phrase, torso heap, in front of our very own fireplace. Maude, he follows on. Maude with psychotic glee says, oh, just think, Neddy, we're a part of Springfield history, and looks at maniacally, arms spread but not quite raised.
Nice. She goes from being like alive with joy, finding out this information about the jealous jockey house or whatever, to instantly not caring. She couldn't care less. We've got some. We will get to some good Maudes. I like the bird's eye Maude at the start of this clip.
She works well in the bird's eye.
Yeah, it's quite a nice, weird look. We've seen a lot of good angles this episode. I would say this clip has two important-ish lines for Maude. The first one being the jealous jockey one, which I think is the weirdest line in the show. In or out of context. It's just a weird thing for Maude to be saying.
With the delivery as well, and the psychotic look on her face when she delivers it.
Yeah, and the Springfield history line is very meta-sentimental. That's the most important line Maude delivers in terms of me using it for something
a part
relevant.
Of Springfield history. Oh, just think, Neddy, we're a part of Springfield history.
I use that. That's the last line in that Maude video that I made with all the Maude clips a few years ago. That's how it ends. So we're adding true crime to the list of things she's into, it seems.
It's a passing interest, but she definitely seems very excited by the proposition. Why does she react that way? Obviously, it's a switcheroo, isn't it? You'd expect them to be shocked and surprised, but she's over the moon.
It's almost like any other family in Springfield would have applied better to this story. Ned and Maude were sort of the worst choice, really, because there's no way they'd be into this brutal murder. There was a heap of torsos in the house, and they're just excited about that. It's certainly season 9-esque.
Who would have been a better fit? Obviously, everybody else.
The Maxstone Grahams. Anybody else? The Wiggums, the Nahasa Pima Petalons, Mo on his own.
But they wouldn't have played along with the old Red Rum thing, would they? Wouldn't have been as funny.
No, it's good. I don't know how to explain it. They've obviously gone for comedy over realism, which is fine.
Given this children's cartoon.
Yeah. But I would argue that this is the first season they've started doing that, picking the comedy over the... there was a point where they were like, no, we can't do that, it's too stupid. And now it's just, Skinner can be whoever you want him to be.
You're not going to let that one go, are you?
No, there's going to be a shopping centre angel that Ned and Maude are going to be over the moon about.
Molemen can live under the ground in a mole colony.
Yes. Kashmir can vanish forever. So we're in season 9, so we've got to give them that little bit of leeway now, and it's going to be harder for us to sort of fit the things Maude's doing into the character we're building. But that's the thing. It's all a learning curve, isn't it? So now we know that she likes.
Exactly.
True crime.
True crime. She's got a passing interest. Just out of interest, how far are we into season 9 at this point?
How far into season 9 are we?
Yeah.
I believe we're about halfway through it. I think we've only got maybe 2 more episodes for us worth of season 9 stuff.
Clip 6. Huge Her Maude looks on with Ned and Marge as Rod hovers over Todd's... What does that say?
Jesus.
Hovers over Todd, pretending to stab him. Oh, look, Daddy, I'm the jealous jockey. No, Mummy. I'm a torso, says Todd. Bongo Maude looks on. Maude grins and stirs. And grinds. As Maude says, I'm glad you're not mad. I lied to you, and I won't feel right until I've returned your deposit, and stuffs Ned's check back into his hands. We appreciate the offer, Marge, but I think we're going to be very happy here, he espouses, and he escorts Marge to the door. No discussion needed. What does Maude think? Does she support Ned? She does not move.
Surely if it would be easier to type out the notes properly so you, in the future, remember what you definitely meant. But I like them. I prefer it this way.
Exactly.
That's giant her in that when she's really tiny at the start of that clip. It's like double the size of her head. That's pretty good. She looks really pleased to see Ron and Todd doing this fake murder. Again, to say they aren't allowed sugar. It's a weird thing to let them.
Reason, isn't it?
Yeah, to let them play around with this is an unusual choice. They didn't get shouted at for this behaviour, but
say the least.
Again, there's obviously some leeway with actual murders with this family that you can't make fun of fake murder, or you have to be on the right side of everything. But you can be into, if murders happen, you can be into it. Seems to be the vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Once it's done, right?
Because they know that that person is then happy in heaven in their fantasy.
That's pushing it a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd buy it more from Maude than Ned, Rod and Todd, this attitude, to be honest. It's easier for us to tag it to Maude with all the darkness that she's been through mentally. But it's Ned, Rod and Todd, it's a big stretch. But the way Todd says, "I'm a torso," is a very cute delivery.
Very funny, isn't it?
Yeah. At the end of this little bit when Ned says, like, "Oh, we're going to keep the house, like, get out," or whatever, and he's walking Marge to the door. Yeah, Maude's just standing still and the camera just moves off her, which I thought was quite funny. It's like, I'm not needed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not needed here.
She does almost nothing in the scene at all. But how would she, Ned just fully made all these decisions without talking to her? Do you think that's really how it would go?
Yeah, in this situation, yes, because he knows that she's on board. Like, she hasn't expressed anything different to what he's expressing, and she would have done. So he knows that he can say that with confidence, and she will. That's how she's feeling.
He knows his Maude.
Yes, almost as well as we do.
But not quite. We spent far more time analysing. He just lived Maude. We deconstructed Maude.
Exactly. I'd say it's us, and then Luan, and then the Bumblebee man, and then Ned.
Yeah. What about Maggie Roswell? How does she figure on that list?
She only knows what she gets paid.
She simply knows the lines on the page, nothing more.
Nothing less.
Do you think Maggie Roswell knows more about Maude than we do?
No.
Do you think Maggie Roswell knows that that Boner's child with the robot leg is called Brass Leg, is his nickname?
I doubt it.
Maggie, if you're listening, or if one of your children that we imagined last week are listening, let us know. We're always happy to have you on, and we'll pay you the $4,000.
Yes, we certainly won't. I'm sure she's created her own backstory, but she's still unaware that that's incorrect.
I'd like to know what she has. Maybe she has a diary of her own or a book.
Maybe.
Where she could play along. She could come on and play along, and we could have a discussion about the dueling lives of Maude. But with multiverse, it's fair game, isn't it?
Exactly.
Clip 4, or clip 7 if you're counting chronologically. As Marge opens the door, she sees Homer and Snake fighting on top of the hood/bonnet of a car. He is ramming Snake's head into his knee. As the car, which is still moving, heads for the door, the family screams, great screams, long screams with tongue like candy strips and snakes. They ride into the house, demolishing the lower floors. Cousin Clancy drives his car through the garden, losing control and demolishing the upper tiers. The second house in a year, ! Quite right. The Flanders and Marge are crouching safely in the conveniently spurred corner. Strange yellow submarine-faced Maude looks like she's feasting on the blood of Rod. Todd is terrified. Ned laughs. Still got the deposit check. He rips in two, smiles. Maude remains crouched creepily.
That's the start of the scene when she screams. That we've never seen fear like that before from Maude. We've never seen her that awake in any situation, I don't think. That's
Hanna-Barbera levels of screaming.
Yeah, that's very cartoony screaming, isn't it? Like with the tongue, like the thin, like sticky outy tongue. Todd's great. Good Todd.
That's fear. That's true fear.
He looks really old.
How is the car moving while Homer is smashing Snake's knee into his face? Smashing his knee into Snake's face.
Something has happened here. This is like the B story that I mentioned earlier. Homer and Snake are fighting over this car. I believe Homer's shoe has landed on the gas pedal, and that is why the car is still moving. Kirk Van Houten loses an arm in this fight.
That makes sense finally, doesn't it?
It does. We've got to consider this a brush with death, surely.
Absolutely. What's going on here, though?
That I've put, it's a super weird but enjoyable Maude face. As she clings to Rod. I didn't notice that it does look like she's just drinking his blood like a vampire because of the lipstick and the red paint still.
Everything.
Look
at Todd's face in this one.
It's like Ned's smothering him. The Maude looking up there, she's either looking up and praying maybe, or she's looking up in that sort of exasperated, I'm done with this sort of way. Because now she's probably back to being annoyed at Homer and Marge. He's sad and he's worried.
That's a great picture. The Bongo people can only dream of ever reaching those heights.
Yes. I'm glad she got Rod, because I get the impression that she likes Todd more than Rod. So it's nice to see a Maude Rod moment.
Oh yeah, I don't think Maude, when it comes down to it, she couldn't choose one over the other.
No, Maude's choice. She side eyes Ned and Marge when they're smiling and laughing about ripping that check up. Like, what the hell are you laughing at?
There's no laughing,
just a brief side eye. Like, look around. Why are you both laughing?
What do you think they make of having a second house in the year that has been completely demolished?
They don't seem to care. The emotional arc that Ned went through, having to go to the mental hospital, and Maude and the kids moving back to Springfield Township for like 3 weeks or whatever.
Canon.
Exactly. None of that even applies this time. They're just, I guess we'll just go back to our other house then, as if they still owned it.
As if they still owned it.
I don't understand what ripping the deposit check up does. What does that mean?
That they're not putting a deposit on the house anymore?
I thought they already owned the house.
It's unclear how mortgages work in Springfield land.
They are mid-paint of this house.
And the fact is that I'm sure if they're writing a deposit check, it's likely that the wheels have begun in motion for them having a mortgage for this new big house. And probably the sale of the other houses is almost gone through. But again,
I just don't buy that ripping up a small, season 9, ripping up a small check wouldn't free you of any legal ties to the house that you bought. They've probably got a lot of insurance money though if they did buy this house and then this instantly happened.
Yeah. Homer would be in a bit of trouble, wouldn't he?
You'd think so.
But obviously not. I guess because the chief of police, did just as much damage they would, in Springfield, they just kind of hushed that up.
Yes, exactly. Some great Maudes this week. Some good-looking Maudes.
Exactly.
From many various angles and different kinds of hairstyles.
Well done. If, let's say, the writing's taken a turn for the worst, for the bizarre, I'd say those Vietnamese and Korean ladies and gentlemen have really stepped up their game this week.
They certainly have. Well, she's lessening in quality and character traits. She is only excelling in hairstyles and facial expressions.
Splendid. So let's move on to some Maude art. Here's some Maude art. You like to tell the people what you can see?
Yes, I believe it is 2 women. I can't. Is Ned a woman? Yes.
I don't know.
I still can't tell. I don't think either of them are women. Are they both men?
I think they may both be men, or 1 woman and 1 man, or 2 women.
It's hard to tell.
Or 3 women. Could be 3 women.
Maybe 4 nan. It's great. It's great. The eye approach is interesting. I don't think I've seen that approach before, and it's very creepy to just extend. So they've put white lines under their eyes and like extended the pupils to go down a bit, so their eyes look only slightly bigger. It works better on the Ned person because of the glasses, I think, whereas the Maude person you can kind of see like the eye line. They have to be men's hands as well.
So the tags, this is from Instagram, I think. The tags say drag queen and drag king. And there's some writing that seems like it might be in Russian. And if so, that gives the game away, doesn't it? Get ourselves some Russian drag queen Maude Flanders cosplay, the kind of thing that only the 21st century can bring you.
Precisely. So I'm going to say that Maude here is the man and Ned is the lady.
It is Serbian, and it translates as yellow.
Lovely.
Interesting. I think it's an excellent cosplay of the range of Maude and Ned cosplayers we've seen over the years. This is by far the best, I think. And I think the eyes thing is wonderful. The Ned's mustache is spot on. Everything about Vera Polis.
There is one thing I would remove. Do you reckon you can guess what it is?
A necklace.
Yes. I don't believe that's a part of it. But the hair is very good. That's the best real-life Maude hair I've seen.
Yeah.
And the Ned hair is really cool as well.
Yeah. If we were going to do the Ned and Maude spin-off, we talked about using the Bob Ross painting from last time as the way to animate it, but maybe this could actually be a live, what's it called when they do the live version?
Just a sitcom.
Live action.
Live action. Yeah, these two and John Hamm and that little bald girl from Stranger Things can be Ham.
Ham Jr. And what about their wife, Helen Highwater Ham?
We met her yet?
No, we haven't.
She is yet to be cast, but I think we should get Roswell and replace her after the pilot.
Yes, it's only a matter of time.
Dear Diary, Rod and Todd have only gone and joined the football team. Can you even believe it? Neither of them are sporty or confident, so it's wildly out of character, but we've all been acting a little bit like that this season. So we're looking forward to winter so we can have another season or something. So I'm going to go and watch them. Ned somehow roped himself into coaching it because you know what Neddy's like. He's just too good of a man, but he's not a good man. I want to mess with people just for no reason today. So me and Edna, my friend, my long-time friend, are going to go and get a milkshake this morning. And I'll tell you how it was. Right and back, the milkshake wasn't very nice. It was too much milk and not enough shake. But Edna said it would be funny if I just put her clothes on and went to this football game and sat in the audience just to mess with people. So I did. But then I had a change of heart mid-game and thought, I look like an idiot. People, this isn't funny. Nobody's even noticed. Everyone just thinks I'm Edna. So I had a bit of a strop and I just got changed behind comic book guy. And I think I was good. Mo definitely saw it, but at this point, I can't live my life trying to avoid Mo. It's too stressful. So he sees what he sees. So then I just put my normal clothes back on and sat down, and then Ned pushed me in the face to get to Homer. So at some point tonight, I am going to push him in the face, but I haven't told him when. And I'm probably going to push Rod as well, just to teach him a lesson about joining a football team. But Todd's okay. I'm going to properly sign off for the day now, Diary. It's been a long, tedious day of dressing up like Edna Krabappel for no reason. And I was going to dress up as Helen, but the clothes are way too big for me. And they've all got holes in it and they stink.
Well, you know, that explains why she suddenly had a quick changer in the middle of the game. And I think quite blatantly professing her preference for Todd over Rod. Although, of course, in the early days, it was very much that we saw Ned and Todd and Rod with Maude, but it seems like that tide has changed.
Sadly, it does.
So there we go. So we're at the end of space time. So thanks, Ergen, now the space child, Matthew Michael McConaughey. So can you let us step through the fifth wall into whatever's on the other side of space time? Is that okay?
Yeah, I think that's within my.
I mean, you did offer it like 10 minutes ago.
I'm fickle. I'll still do it though.
Shall we hold hands?
No.
Okay. All right. Is it just this red curtain?
Yeah, just go through a couple of red flapping curtains and you'll presumably wake up in the woods somewhere.
Okay. Let's go, Zaz.
Just who else is coming?
Just us
well,
two.
bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Envelope,
Envelope, he's got his chrome tricycle, isn't he? He's going to go off and start looking for planets for the Star Child.
Oh, yeah, Envelope's already long gone looking for planets. Well, bye, everybody. We started off with about 35 people
Jeff's
this season, and
descended
now
to
we're
space heaven. It's just the two of us and Star Child.
back to basics.
All right,
Let's
go
do
through the curtain. What? I can't believe my eyes.
Are we?
Are we?
Could it be?
It's
We're in
the real Springfield.
We're in Springfield.
What? Season 6? Oh, and who's this in my pocket? Animate Carbon Todd. But you've changed into an actual small boy. He's running away. I know, he's like a glowing green animate figure and he's run away. Oh no.
Oh no, that's really set up some problems for the future.
The curtain's closed as well. All right, well, shall we sing a song before we try and find a place to sleep for the night?
Yeah, it looks like we're stuck in Springfield. For all we know, she could be here. This could be, we don't know what year we're in. They don't know what year they're in.
No, we don't know when we are. We only know where we are.
All I can see is that burning pile of tyres, and I think I can spot Smithers.
What colour is he?
Both colours.
Good Lord, that doesn't help.
He's fluctuating between the two.
Oh my goodness, I hope we haven't brought reality here. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
It's probably going to be like an extra long one this time, in this episode.
Classic broccoli bead show.
Shanging off, rundinwa.
Gutted teeth.
I'd sure hate gently Hanad, ridding young.
Glance sideways at Ned Ducky.
The font of the house fouls off Buster Keaton.
Marge Grubbles.
Check Marge to Ned Ducky expression.
Kudo on Mont. Ridiculosity spooky.
Derangely psycho-socialistas.
Slashed repeatedly.
Maude E goes nagel. It sure built solid arms out.
Tiny heeded Maude steps back. Kawaii.
Dun dun. Is there anything else we should know? Imagine Huts.
We panic-kiss a hopeful mild face. Hopeful.
Cortina's on his face. Expressions and happy hugs.
Do for Soma shudder.
Oh, that old Flanders place. Give me the Creos.
Screams we. Zoom.
Caillou quote. Mates have dozed off.
Very fuzz red-lipped mouthed.
Glassed informed. Tiny face were he.
Mrs. Astor concealed herself.
Torso heap. Psychotic part.
Maude with Fuscotic glee were part. Oh, you've just done that bit.
Torso heap. Protect
Marge Asprod.
Hiya, torso.
He espocked Smarge to the door, not Sidusian.
She must support Ned. Do bonnet of car.
Hod bonnet.
Sankers they, demolishing cousin through garden.
Consin Clancy.
Conventally spurred rod titties. Fine.
Maude remains crouched creepily.
Maude remains creepily.
Torso heap. The end.
Yeah.
Well, bye everybody. See you next season.
Can see Maude is obviously very tied up in her trip to France and obviously distracted somewhat by all of the shenanigans going on. And she's gone over to a European country to carry out a criminal act that she's then going to use to fund church renovation. Is this correct?
Yeah, I don't think she knows it's illegal though. I think she thinks it's just part of the culture. She probably just thinks it's typical of them. See you next week for the Raheem cast.
Exactly. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Exactly. That's probably what we'll be thinking mid-Raheem cast.
Meanwhile, in other bit of space.
Greetings, Wolf Wolf. It is I, Barker. You are finally awake. I found you floating through the rubble in space. So I gave you a robot body and brought you back to life, Wolf Wolf. And now I am here to follow your commands, Wolf Wolf. What must we do, Wolf? Wolf Wolf.
And now we destroy the Maudecast. For Leica!
Hail Leica.